Hello. Making another video. I am, yes. So this is kind of like I guess like a TWAB video. Everyone's complaining about the TWAB. Pretty bad TWAB. I made a video about the TWAB, but the video was really just me ranting, being pretty pissed off, being negative, really negative. So I wanted to not upload that video and make a new video being a little bit more optimistic. I think Bungie have probably seen the negativity. So yeah, I just wanted to cover some stuff. I'm not going to be fully positive in this video. There is negatives, but I'm not going to bitch and whine about it like I did in the last video I recorded. So yeah, I'll try and be a little bit more open-minded, trust the process. Questionable stuff still, but yeah, let's get into the kind of, I guess I'm brushing through the TWAB. So first thing I want to be optimistic about is the dungeon layers. Pretty good addition. Going to be coming to the portal. Should have been, I believe Bungie said it should have been there. Edge of Fate was a bit behind, so they pushed it back to Ash and Iron. I don't know if the dungeon layers will be dropping on Ash and Iron drop. I can't remember if they said that. I know additionally they said they were aiming for September. So hopefully it is Ash and Iron when we get it. We get it on the DLC or the update release on September the 9th. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I'm gonna trust them with the dungeon layers thing. They've done Pantheon before, which was kind of a raid layer, not really a raid phase boss rush kind of thing. It was amazing. Everyone loved that bit of Pantheon, so that was good. So yeah, the only thing, I guess if they go with the Pantheon, yeah, you do an encounter, next encounter, raid layer done. Randomizes. I want to see like all the dungeon kind of encounters being available. Like if they make it between 3 dungeons, it's kind of boring, but maybe they'll add some layers so it wouldn't be too bad. The big thing for me on the dungeon layers is got to be dungeon loot. It's got to be dungeon loot brought into the new tier system. I don't want old dungeon loot. I don't want portal drops from the dungeon layers. I want to be playing. They did this with Pantheon as well. You played the raid encounter like Golgoroth, and you got King's Fall loot from that. So I'm really hoping that they're doing the same with these dungeon layers. Because if it's portal drops for me, I'm just not gonna play it. Like I'm just not. I had a friend saying, "Oh, I don't see them doing that. I don't see them bringing that into the." It's probably going to take. Well, they've done it with trials. Unwavering Duty, Forgiveness, old trials weapons brought into the tiered system, so they can't do it. So I'm hoping that is, if they do that with dungeon layers, bring the dungeon loot back into the portal, and you play the dungeon layers to get them, kind of boss rush or encounter rush kind of mode. I think it'd be pretty fun, and I'm looking forward to that. So that is a positive, and I'm being optimistic that they're not going to just put in Shoreline Dissonant or the new sidearm. So we'll see. I guess we'll see. Yeah, I'm just gonna go through. I'll go through kind of topics here, I guess. So they're changing the dungeon rewards. They're increasing the rewards depending on what kind of run you're doing, for the epic raid and the normal raid. They're also changing the way tiers will drop, which is a good change, a very good change. But I don't want to praise them on this change because it should never have need changed in the first place. That should have been the standard. It really should have been the standard that even if you do higher feats. So I just completed my 5 feet run last night. That's done. I'll probably play a clip of my. I think I start laughing when I get my final reward from boss.
Don't want to.
We have to at least do cut for battalion.
I'm here.
And probably like phase limit. We don't need 5 freeze enough.
Cyber, you have my
Sorry?
support for raid activities.
Oh wait a minute, look guys, I
No.
found one of my bows. It's in Scratter. Cheers, buddy.
I finished my clan bounty for raiding.
Tier 4 bow, tier 4 bow. Okay then.
Let's
Yay!
go. The triumph, triumph, triumph.
I can't
Never
be
again.
lame.
Just need to
So I will, on that little snippet, I guess, I will be uploading the full run. Unfortunately, it is segmented, so you'll see outfit changes. It was across 2 weeks and probably 3 different days in total. It's just due to the fact it was tough for us. We are all in different time zones. We all pretty much have full-time jobs, so you know, I think I'm the last person to finish my job when you account for time zones, like real time. I finish job the latest. I get on by the time we're 2 hours, 2.5 hours in, we're all absolutely exhausted, and we just call it a night, go on to the next day. But then the same thing happens on the next day again. I'm last to finish my job. We get on. Some people couldn't be there on certain days, so I think we had one swap for player. But yeah, I'll segment the run and I'll put it all in a video. And I guess people that are like similar level as us can maybe help them and see the builds we use and see how we went about it. But yeah, back to the main video. So it was a real big challenge for us, and I was really happy we got through it. And I should have been so much happier. And then the loot dropped, and I just started laughing. Like I didn't even know how to react. It was so underwhelming. That was the reward we got for completing probably the hardest activity in the game at the current moment. So yeah, this should have been. I don't know why they thought rewarding people so little for doing the hardest content in the game was such a good idea, and I don't want to praise them over fixing it because it should never have been this way. Also, the wording in the TWAB is full clear. So like, I think tier 2 is going to be standard now, and completing a full clear gives you a chance of a +2 reward on your tiers. Tier 3, so I think there's a chance of tier 5s because right, I'm rereading it. All desert perpetual gear will now be tier 2 standard, tier 3 in the epic raid, no matter what your current power level is. So tier 3 in the epic raid is standard. In addition, we've added a chance for all gear earned during a full clear to drop it +2 from your base tier. So if you're doing the epic raid and you do a full clear, +2 would be tier 5, right? But does that then mean the only way to get a tier 5 from the raid in general is to do the epic raid and do a full clear? Which means for the game to know you're doing a full clear, you had to do all encounters and then kill the boss. So the boss is going to be the only thing that drops at a +2. It's also a chance. So I don't think they've fully fixed the tier issue in the raid. It was already abysmal and it still looks kind of bad. I'll put a snippet of what they've said in the TWAB up, and if you read it, there's always a chance. There's a chance. A chance this, chance that. So yeah, I'm being optimistic about the epic raid though. I hope it's good. They're doing a new raid race. Hope it's good. The tier 5, although really unrewarding, it was challenging, and it's good to get challenging activities like that. But for us, it's hard to complete because you do get dopamine when you complete it. Just wish there was a reward. Was pretty much I broke those gauntlets down instantly, so I feel like I got nothing for the completion. So on the topic of raids, the next thing is not swap. I don't really have any positive stuff to say about this. They put not swap on right of the 9. To be honest, for most teams, I know it wasn't like a world's first raid race, kind of different circumstances, but it was on there. And then they brought out the world's first raid race for Desert Perpetual normal mode. No not swap. And now for the epic raid, they've added not swap, adept. So I sit on the fence when it comes to loadout swaps. I use loadout swaps a lot, but I'm not one of those top 1% players that will be hoping to clear this raid race first. I might not even be able to play it due to work. The one thing I've got to say is, why are they flip-flopping so much on not swap? They just make a fucking rule and stick to it. I don't see how hot swapping loadouts hurts anyone. Everyone can loadout swap. I don't know where this misconception is that PC players or mouse and keyboard players can do it faster. It's just a skill issue if that's what you're saying. Because I played on console and I can loadout swap. I play on PC now on controller and I can loadout swap. So I don't know where the misconception is that no one else can use this but keyboard, mouse, PC players. Everyone can use it. I've still got friends on console who probably loadout swap quicker than me on PC. So yeah, but I think the real issue is the flip-flopping. I don't know why they keep flip-flopping. Just make a rule, stick to it. Everyone then knows the rules. Yep. Portal updates. So I don't like the portal updates. I don't. The positive part of this is they are adding activities. There'll be a new activity added with Ash and Iron, brand new. Cool. They're adding some old activities in. Honestly, I don't mind it. It's more stuff to play in the game. I don't know why they're adding expeditions. Nobody I know actually is excited for expeditions. I don't know. There's so many gems like throughout old seasons. Season of Plunder itself, Catch Crash, not the best activity they've ever released, but it's a 6-man activity and a cool addition to the portal. I think it might be the first 6-man in the portal, if I'm thinking correct. Outside Crucible, and yeah, it was fun. It wasn't the best, but there's a 6-man activity. It was a fun thing to play. It was a lot better than Expeditions, which came in the same season. Expeditions were tedious and boring, and you stand on a payload and shoot enemies while it moves through an area. I don't know whose idea that was, but it's coming. So it is an extra thing in the portal to play, which was much needed. Okay, the portal in general, I don't know why were we nerfing everything. I think Fire Team Ops and got it wrote down somewhere. Onslaught and Coil. Fire Team Ops, Onslaught and Coil are the only things getting an increase to drops. Everything else is getting nerfed, including solo ops, including things like Encore, Starcrossed. I've always kind of lived by the philosophy of, or not lived by, but at least gamed by, just don't nerf stuff. Bring everything else up to its level. I had a cool diagram. Quite proud of the diagram I had on this for the last video. I might just put a picture of the diagram up, or even like a little snippet. I'm not going to get too into it and get too negative about it, but I don't think it was needed to nerf everything, because the grind was already tedious as it is. So yeah, I just want to ask why they're doing that. Like, why did they think that was a good idea? We're adding Avalon and Presage. Cool. I'm happy with this. But why is the Borrowed Diode mission not been added? Because it's not been available since season drop. We'll see on Weekly Reset coming up tomorrow. If the Borrowed Diode mission gets added to the Legends tab. Obviously we're now entering with Edge of Fate went, or a time where it wasn't in I think it was, where was the, I can't remember. It was always, once the Borrowed Diode mission came out, it was always available. Obviously when Heresy went and Edge of Fate came, that was removed and it's just never popped up. So we're thinking maybe in the Legends tab tomorrow the borrowed dyad mission might be available on the rotation. Post edit moldy squidfish. Bah. Right. So weekly reset's been. I recorded this video on Monday. I didn't edit it in time for to get it out before reset. So reset has been, and there is officially no borrowed dyad or derealize exotic mission available in Legends tab, which means it's probably not on the Legend tab rotation, and it's definitely not available anywhere else, including in the portal. And they are bringing back Tomb of Elders, which just came out in Revenant, which wasn't that far away. So now I'm wondering why they didn't bring back any of the heresy activities, which got a lot more love from the community. And I'm starting to think they've deleted the Dreadnought from the game completely, and they don't have access to it anymore. Tinfoil hat, tinfoil hat. I've got tinfoil hat on. Where is borrowed dyad? Someone tell me where borrowed dyad. Okay, back to the video again. So yeah, Portal in general. I think the changes are pretty bad. I mean, just with the power grind like changes, I think they're pretty bad. I know they weren't going to watch my video. I know I'm not like, massive. I think barely anyone watched my last video. I think the things I discussed in that whole video were, I think it was a pretty solid idea. I think if they announced that instead of what they ended up announcing, honestly, I think the feedback would have been a lot better from TWAB. So I will just repeat slightly on what the whole last video was about. Why does Coil not have Season of the Wish weapons? Why does what's it called, Sabbath Inspire not have Witch weapons? Why does Onslaught still not have its Brave Arsenal? Why is Expeditions getting added in the first place? But it is getting added, so whatever. But when it gets added, why does it not have Plunder weapons? It would make wanting to change to these activities a lot more, make more sense. Because all we're gonna do now is everything's dropping portal gear. We don't know about dungeon layers yet. Everything else is dropping portal gear. We're just gonna find when Ashen Iron comes out, which is the most efficient. It might still be solo ops, even if it's -1 to power. What's the most efficient? Because there will be a most efficient, because it doesn't look like they balanced it at all. They're just going blah, blah, blah. What's the most efficient? And we're going to play that. And that's going to be all we play. There's no other reason to play the Coil, because the Coil is just giving us the same drops, and it's giving us less drops. So we're getting less power from this. We're going to play something else. Whereas, right, even if they can't bring the Coil or Encore up to the level of other stuff, if it's dropping its specific loot from those seasons, people will want to play that. When people get bored of the power grind, or they're having an off day and they're like, I don't want to just grind the same activity over and over again, maybe I should play some Coil, and I will try and get a new Doom Petitioner, or I will try and get a new Super Cluster, or Shatter Signal. And that would be in the teardrop. So that was pretty much the whole last video, what that was about. I still think, to me, it's a no-brainer. I don't know why they've not added it. I also say no-brainer a lot in the last video. So yeah, I don't know why they're adding expeditions. I don't know why they're nerfing stuff. I don't know why borrowed dyad isn't getting added. But I'll trust the process. So yeah, on the power grind topic, the other thing I had wrote down was they announced in the TWAB that when you get a powerful prime, whatever you want to call it, tiered piece of loot, when you're 400, I guess, when you're 500 to the 550, you get that really low chance. I played like 10, 15 solo ops yesterday in a row and didn't get a single powerful drop. And when they were going to change it, so when you got that powerful drop, it would go into your engrams, and then you would have to come away from the really tedious grind you were doing, which you already thought wasn't fast enough, and go into the tower to then decrypt it, just to find out it was a duplicate, and then you would have to load back into your activity, and then come back out, and load back in, and load back out. I don't know why they announced that was a change they were making in the first place. They've now reverted it. They've came out on Twitter and says, yeah, we're not going to do this. We're going to just, it's going to be the way it's always been. And then I've seen people, like, again, praise them. Great change. Glad you've stepped back on this one. Don't praise them for making a stupid decision and then stepping it back. Just don't stop making stupid decisions. That's a brain dead. It's so out of touch with the community like feedback. We think it's too slow. We think it's too tedious. We want everything to be balanced, which is hard. I know it's hard to balance all these different activities in the portal, but they've just went the complete opposite way. So yeah, I don't want to see any praise for Bungie fixing things that were broken, like the raid rewards. Why were they so bad in the first place? A raid is like an end game activity. It should be rewarding the most. And with 5 feats active, 4 feats, and even 3 feats active, that's still like a harder version of an end game activity. They should be rewarding so much more than a solo ops does. So yeah, don't praise them on fixing stuff like that. It's just so stupid to even have it in that in the game in that state in the first place. I don't know what they were thinking. So I am glad they're fixing it, but I'm not going to praise them for it. Right, so positives, or I guess one thing I want to say is this is a known issues. It's been a known issue since Edge of Fate dropped. You cannot get the Divinity quest. I have Divinity. A lot of people I play with have Divinity. But people I play with don't have Divinity. They didn't play the game during the time Divinity was a thing, or came out, so they never really got a chance to get it. And they now just can't get Divinity. The quest doesn't drop. I don't know why that's broken. I don't know why it's broken, and I don't know why they've not fixed it yet. Every exotic that should be available to get should be working. You can't just have an exotic like quest item broke and just be like, oh well. And that ties into the borrowed dyad situation. Where is borrowed dyad? Why can't no one obtain borrowed dyad? And again, I'm not saying this because I'm angry I don't have it. I have borrowed dyad. I'm happy that I've got borrowed dyad, but there's people who didn't play last season that I play with. And not even just the people I play with, there's lots of people that didn't play last season or there's just returned in Edge of Fate. They didn't get a chance to get borrowed dyad. It's just gone. Like, where is it? So please, Bungie, please fix Divinity. Please fix borrowed dyad. If you don't, on reset. You know, the people want to obtain this loot in this game, and that's hours for them put into the game. So you should be happy. But that's a thing that should be available always. And I don't know how they managed to break Divinity Quest. Listen, positives. Dungeon layers I've got in there. I'm still positive about this. I am still optimistic that it will be dungeon rewards. If it's not dungeon rewards, I can see me moving to another game for a little bit. I'm really holding out hope that it is dungeon rewards. The multiple pinnacle drops or prime or powerful drops. Okay, I just looked at the TWAB. I can't see anywhere where it says coils going to 4, so maybe I made that up in my head. Onslaught, Widow's Court is increased to 4. I don't know if that means Onslaught. The original Onslaught is also going to 4. Yeah, well, at least Onslaught, Widow's Court's going to 4. So previously, you do, we'll just use Onslaught, Widow's Court as both examples. You do an Onslaught, Widow's Court right now, at this current moment, you get 3 rewards. If you happen to get a pinnacle drop, which is the tier 5 big boost you want to get to 450, you get 3 rewards, and one of those can be a pinnacle, and that's it. However, Ash and Iron, you're going to be getting 4 on Widow's Court, and there is a chance. Doesn't mean when you get a pinnacle drop, all 4 will be pinnacles, but there is a chance that you'll get multiple. You can get all 4 pinnacle drops, which is, yeah, it's kind of cool. The one issue I've got with this change, although it's a good change, it was a needed change, I think the chance to get a pinnacle is still a bit too low. Just a tiny bit. I'm not saying it should be easy. I'm not saying it should be very, it should be fast. It should be fast to get there. I don't mind the grind, but I think the grind is just a tiny bit. Yeah, I don't know. The only way to guarantee the pinnacle drops right now is Zavala on a weekly reset. And I feel like Macdix had either him or his community had a good idea. Where if you do something like, say you do all solo ops in a week or maybe a day, on your final completion of the last one you're doing, you're like guaranteed a pinnacle. And then same for fire team ops, same for pinnacle ops. Complete the set. You know, there's 6 activities in pinnacle ops, for example. You complete all 6 with A scores, and then on that 6th completion, you're guaranteed a pinnacle drop. It doesn't make it super efficient, but it gives you an incentive to go through and play different things, which is I think what he was trying to do. It makes you want to play different things. You're going to play different things. You're not just going to go for the most efficient pinnacle ops and play it all the time. The first thing you're probably going to want to do on your weekly kind of schedule is try and complete your sets on your different categories of activities. But yeah, I am positive about the multiple pinnacle drops per activity. I just wish the chance was a little bit higher still. The monuments of Lost Light. I think these are good changes. I'm not sure what I qualify for. Okay, so I'm if anyone's curious, I'll probably leave a link in the description. For the monument of Lost or previous seasons, which I think is pretty cool. You do get to see your ranks from previous seasons. Either use the Wayback Machine and see which rewards you didn't earn during what seasons, or you could just go on Time Wasted on Destiny. You type in your name and it will tell you, if you click on the Seasons tab, probably show an example of this on screen, what rank you hit in which season. So for me, Season of the Worthy, Season of the Splicer, it has Season of the Witch as rank 1. I think that's bugged because I completed Season of the Witch. Lost and Dawn. So I've got 4 or 5 seasons where I was taking breaks during those seasons. And yeah, I know some of them were really good seasons and I kind of missed out on them. My bad. So yeah, for me, it's a good way to get the armor sets that I never got to get back then. Yeah, just kind of like any fashion. It's got the emotes, ships, ghosts, shaders, some emotes. I might say the emotes. Also has the exotic weapon and its catalyst and its ornament, like the exotic ornament. So I think it's pretty cool. Some people come back and say, yeah, I had to be there and do that. It's kind of shitty that we've done this and played through it all and we didn't get this. I don't care. There's so much cool armor sets in Destiny. So much cool shaders, just the fashion in general. I think it's pretty peak in Destiny. So I think just opening that up, it's not really pay to win, apart from the exotic being available, but I think most of them go into the Monument of Lost Light eventually anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just excited that I get to get the some of the armor sets that I didn't get back in the day when I was taking breaks from the game. So yeah, that's a positive. So one thing I've not mentioned, I've got it down here on the positives list. Conquest being repeatable. I'm sitting firmly on the fence on this one. I think, yeah, it's a good thing they are repeatable. I don't know why they were never repeatable. But the negative is they're still not a replacement for Grandmaster Nightfalls. They're just not. They don't have the feel of a Grandmaster Nightfall. Difficulty wise, I'd say yeah, they're up there. But part of the thing with Grandmaster Nightfalls was a big thing, like a huge thing with Grandmaster Nightfalls was the weapon. And I spoke about this in my last video as well. We still need an activity, and I'm still thinking Ultimate Nightfall to be put in the Fire Team Ops tab, and to have a weapon once every week tied to it, and the weapon would change on weekly reset. Not a chance to get the weapon. Complete it and get the weapon in a high tier. It's Ultimate Nightfall with set modifiers, so it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a lot. It's gonna be painful and it's gonna be difficult. I think that's what we need. we definitely need that kind of activity in the game to farm, or you know, a lot of the content creators will make content around it with their build battles or their build versus build. They've got kind of similar names, but yeah, the you know Cross Mactic does it. So yeah, I'm happy that conquests are going to be repeatable. It is an extra thing again in the portal to play, so it's not a negative for me. But that I think we still need a GM activity. This is not the GM activity. We need something to grind for with gun drops, not gumdrops, not teardrops, gun. Yep. That's really the video. Thanks for watching. I hope I don't need to make another video. Really just the best way to. Voice. I feel like I have a voice. Bungie, start listening to your community, please. Stop looking at graphs. Stop looking at your graphs and saying this is how this works and this is how this works. And this is obviously what they're enjoying doing. So we need to fuck this up. Just get some feedback from the community. It's your game at the end of the day, I know, but you're gonna fucking kill it, bro. You're gonna kill it. Dungeon Layers.